My name is Bill Kimmer. I am the managing member of Metro Mortgage Consulting. We are a third-party loss mitigation company. Today I have Nina Buckley here, who is a new client. We are going to be recording a series of 9 short videos regarding short sales and foreclosures. This is the first one of 9, and we're going to be talking about options. So Nina, you have a situation that you wanted to ask me about, and I'm here to help you.
Yes, I do. Actually, my real estate agent asked me to come talk to you. And I am potentially going to be, I am going to be laid off from my job in about 2 months. I am currently making my mortgage payments, but I'm absolutely sure. I've already had one payroll reduction 3 months ago. And then after the layoff, I'm clearly not going to be able to make my mortgage payment on unemployment. I think I do know what I owe. $240 on the first. I have a $40,000 second, which is an equity line. My real estate agent tells me that she thinks my property is worth about $175, and I know that my options at this point, I really thought I was just going to be facing foreclosure, and then she suggested I come talk to you about a short sale. So I really wanted to know the difference between the two, the ramifications, and what am I going to be looking forward to in the next 3 or 4 months.
Okay. First off, you need to know that you're not the only one in this position. There are hundreds of thousands of people that are out in your situation that have had a reduction in hours, layoffs, spouses that have been laid off and unemployed. We have people with variable rates where their interest rates have gone up, and they're just really facing some difficult times. You're doing the right thing in the fact that you're coming and trying to face it up front and figure out what to do. You have another number of options for you. I'm going to go over the options that I see based on what you've told me. Then at the end of the day, you're going to have to decide which road you want to go down, and I will help you through that.
Okay.
The options that I see basically in your situation would be, 1 is to do nothing. 2 is to look at a loan modification.
Okay.
3 would be to somehow get caught up in your payments or come up with money, either pulling it out of 401ks, borrowing from relatives, whatever you might have to do. And then the 4th option would be the short sale option. So let's go back up to the do nothing.
Okay.
Do nothing, frankly, is what a lot of people do in your situation. It's kind of deer in the headlights. They're scared. They have no idea where to go. They can't get straight answers from anybody. They look on the internet and they get very conflicting information, and they become paralyzed. And in the do nothing, they move towards a foreclosure and go through the foreclosure process. That's not a good option. It's not an option that needs to occur. But if it's an option you choose to go down, I'll explain to you, ramifications of the foreclosure.
Okay.
Okay, your second option then is going to be a loan modification. In a loan modification, the bank is basically looking at 3 things. Typically, they're looking at your credit score. Second thing they're looking at is your income. And the third thing they're looking at is what's referred to as loan to value. So they're looking at the value of your house versus the loan that's against it. Let's go back to your FICO, to your credit score.
Okay.
Typically what occurs when people are in a financial distress is they are missing payments. When they start missing payments, their credit score goes down. Honestly, just to ask for a loan modification to be considered is going to lower your FICO score. Because the only reason you would be asking for a loan modification is because you're in financial distress. So they actually, just for asking for a loan modification, you get a ding on your FICO score.
You're kidding.
Unfortunately, no.
Wow.
So we have a situation where your FICO score is going down. Typically, your income is going down, which we have in your situation. We also then have the loan to value. You owe $280,000 on a property that is worth $175,000. There isn't any lender that's going to think this is something they really want to participate in. Even if you get the loan modification done, typically what they look at is taking whatever decrease in interest that they're allowing you, and they're tagging it onto the back end of your loan. So that $280,000 actually becomes worth more. I've not seen a loan modification where they've actually gone down and done a reduction in principal. Consequently, you're going through all this work to still owe $280,000 on an asset worth $175,000.
So I could end up paying more?
You could.
Wow. I didn't know that. And I also didn't know it was going to affect my credit either. Well, it's interesting that you should say that because I went through the loan modification process. They said I qualified. It took 6 months. At the end of the day, I didn't. Because I haven't been laid off yet, I continued to make my payments. And I actually didn't know that just by asking it was going to affect my credit score.
I've had numerous clients come in with your story. I've had them go through where they were accepted on a trial basis. They go through a 3-month period paying a reduced payment. So if their payment was $2,000, they're only paying $1,500. At the end of that 3-month trial period, they're told they don't qualify and they owe the back money, the other $1,500, plus all those payments are considered late payments now
They are?
because you didn't pay the full amount. So my experience with loan modifications and my clients' experiences with loan modifications is very poor. Anybody that wants to go forward with a loan modification, I wish them all the success in the world. I don't work on loan modifications. You're free to go ahead and do that. When you get done and you get turned down, you come back and see me, and we'll go
Which
through
is the stage I'm at right now because I went through the process. I wanted to keep making my payments until the layoff actually occurred. Was trying to be really proactive because up to this point I've had an excellent credit rating. And I even called to be proactive on my second, and they said, we're not talking to you until you're 90 days delinquent. And I about fell off my chair.
Yeah, I understand that. So loan modification is not in the cards for you.
Okay.
The third option then is for you to get caught up in some manner, borrowing money from a family member, a friend, taking it out of your 401k,
I
whatever
thought
you might
about
want
that.
to do.
Okay.
And I see a lot of people that try to hang on and they borrow as much as they can out of their 401k. That's extremely expensive money. You have to pay taxes on that. You have an early distribution you have to pay. It's extremely expensive. And at the end of the day, you're still paying money on an asset that's worth $175,000 and you owe $280,000. If you look at it in a pure economic financial aspect, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
The third option then, or the fourth option, I guess, is that we look at a short sale. So in your situation, you're no longer going to be able to afford to make your payments. You're going to need to sell your property, and we're going to go to the bank and ask them to accept less than what is owed on the property in order to release their lien interest so that we can sell it and get you out from underneath this heavy financial burden. Short sales are very common. We do hundreds of them. And there are pros and cons to doing a short sale versus a foreclosure. I'm going to discuss that in detail with you on a next video clip.
So if I decide to go the short sale option, what has been your success rate with short sales?
We've been very fortunate to have a very high success rate. We are focused on doing short sales. That's all we do. We understand the banks, we understand the time periods, and we're very diligent about getting information back to them. I saw a recent publication put out by the National Association of Realtors, and they have that the failed sale rate on short sales is a little bit over 80%. That means in a typical transaction conducted by a real estate agent by themselves, they fail about 80% of the time. They only have a 20% success rate.
Wow.
We close over 80% of our transactions, and we're very, very proud of that.
Okay.
We also are very successful at negotiating deficiencies or deficiency releases, and we put both those hand in hand. So if you decide to move forward with a short sale, I'm confident that we'll do our very best effort to get this through. We will get it closed, and you'll know exactly where you are in the deficiencies.
Okay.
So I